All right, I'm here with my friend Bob Burnett. Bob has a long history and background working in computers, and then later got into Bitcoin. And you are only slightly older than me, and you have a way of explaining Bitcoin to people who don't understand it or don't see the need for it and don't care about it. That has been helpful to me, but also lots of people I know. We work with a lot of churches that have many people who are just normal working people. They're not in finance, they're not into Bitcoin, they are often confused by it. I heard Bitcoin described one time as everything people don't understand about computers combined with everything they don't understand about money.
Well said.
How would you help people with, let's start with Bitcoin as a network, because you are now in what's called Bitcoin mining. And so Bitcoin is both a money and a network that is kind of around it. Why should regular people and Christians be concerned, or like what's exciting about Bitcoin as a computer network compared to other computers or other maybe cryptocurrencies that they've heard about? What makes Bitcoin interesting and unique as something that we should care about as normal people in this world?
I think it's difficult for the average person to grasp the importance of decentralization.
Right.
And we live in a world where there's always hierarchy, right? And if we speak about it like in the Christian sense, right. I mean that certainly we have God and right. That sits at the top of our right. hierarchy, but we all in our daily lives have so much that we are restricted by and bound by, and our sovereignty is always at stake. And what Bitcoin did, which is truly remarkable, and I believe divine, right. went through a series of steps that are probably more than we can talk about here to create a truly decentralized network that's beholden to nobody. There's no earthly bound entity right. that can control Bitcoin or force Bitcoin in the wrong direction.
Right.
And so, in a lot of senses, it's pure. Like
right.
that purity, the thing that has not been corrupted by man.
Right.
Actually exists.
Right, yeah. I mean, a lot of normal people are aware and sensitive to the fact that something like a Facebook can easily turn you off. And like yep. we as Christians, we hear about, mostly Christians in other countries, they can also be turned off out of the financial system and out of banking. Yes. And the internet can be shut off. And this is something new because we are used to computers being something that is controlled by a company that may or may not care about what you care about and yep. may actually be opposed to you.
Right.
But also the weird thing with computing is that we've gotten used to anything that's digital can just be endlessly copied.
Right.
And this is something new that also about Bitcoin.
Yeah, it's we say rules without rulers.
Right.
And I find that to be fascinating right. and refreshing and, right. and comforting right. to know that hey, there's something here in the earthly realm right. that has that characteristic. And certainly we leverage that for monetary reasons, which right. you didn't ask about that part, and
right.
it's
yeah,
leveraged for monetary reasons.
Bitcoin is a money.
As a money, and you and I have been friends for a while. We talk about this, but money is captured, money is permissioned, at least in the traditional sense, whether that's the dollar or the yen or right. wherever it is in fact. All of your property is permissioned. Your car, your home, your right. kind of all of your worldly possessions are in the same realm, except for Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the one thing that you literally can possess it, right. and nobody can take it from you.
Right.
Now you might have to be willing to go to the grave
right.
without revealing what's called their private keys.
Right.
But you have that choice. Like
right.
you have that choice.
And the reason that Bitcoin can't be taken from you or printed away from you, which is another big piece of Bitcoin, that it can't be printed, unlike almost all the money that people work with today, is because of this decentralization that you're talking
right.
about. There's no CEO that
yep.
can decide, I don't like you, you're
yep.
shut off, or I'm taking it from you.
Correct.
And so is it like gold in that there's no CEO of it, there's no boss of gold, and is that a helpful way to think about it?
I think to a certain degree, but I would say, a gold plus.
Right.
Because gold, I could, if you had some gold on you right now, Tim, I could physically remove that gold from you, right? So, in the sense you can possess the gold, but I still, with enough force, can pry it from you. With Bitcoin, it's protected by these private keys. And you don't have your private keys on you. I don't have my private keys on here. I actually don't have them memorized. Some people memorize them. I don't memorize them on purpose, by the way.
I live in a decentralized network.
Right, and so there is no force that can take my Bitcoin from me or from you. It's also unbounded in size. So gold, if you had 16 ounces of gold, you might be able to have that on your body. But 5 pounds of gold, 10 pounds of gold, 30 pounds of gold, well, it starts running into limits. And good luck getting through TSA with 5 pounds of gold.
Versus digital information, but it's not something that's just sitting in my pocket that I lost.
Right.
How would you explain to somebody who is trying to wrap their heads around Bitcoin as this network that's also money in another way? We're used to, oh, well, my computer died and then it's gone, or I lost my password. Explain a little more about why Bitcoin can't be turned off or can't be, broken by a machine that falls apart or something like that.
Well, the network itself is composed of tens of thousands of nodes, each which contain a full record of every Bitcoin transaction, and in essence, who owns all the Bitcoin. It's all held on tens of thousands of machines, and it's secured by millions of mining servers that protect the integrity of what are called the blocks that are produced, that process. And every time a new block is produced, which happens about every 10 minutes, the network itself grows stronger. And we're approaching like 1 million of these blocks that have taken 17 years to accumulate. And so that in and of itself is a security factor, a comfort factor, that this thing can't be corrupted. So
even if a small piece of it is taken down or banned by a government, the entire thing continues living.
Right. And by the way, we don't even need the internet.
Right.
Like if the internet goes down, the network will slow, but we can literally continue through ham radio networks and peer-to-peer mesh networks, and that may not mean anything to people in the if you're not really technical, but what I hope people would take away from that is even the internet going down doesn't stop Bitcoin. And it certainly doesn't cause you to lose any Bitcoin. And
because the record is still there.
The record is still there, and there will be some mechanism. It might get really slow by which the network can move forward, and you can't do that with probably anything beyond cash.
Right. Yeah, because a bank is large, is centralized. It can you can lose records there. They can turn you off. We're used to digital banking, but this is something much different.
And we have to place this trust into a bank and into these financial institutions. And if one thing history teaches us is, given enough time, that will either be corrupted or mismanaged in a really bad way with a really bad outcome. And I think we live here in a developed first world Western market, so we don't think about these things. But I also encourage people, like when I go give presentations, sometimes I'm talking to a group of very wealthy people, and the first thing I will say to them when I'm talking is, I'd like you to forget that you are this person, pretend you live in a small village in Bolivia, or you're you sell fruit in the Philippines or something like that. Now think about how money works for you. And if you're unbanked, you're not connected to the global financial system, you're living under a dictatorship, and now I say, here's Bitcoin, that has no ruler, that can't be stopped, that your asset can't be stolen. The value proposition changes pretty dramatically, pretty quickly.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you, Bob. Thanks for helping us explain Bitcoin to many people who feel the pain of the problem it's trying to solve, even if it's hard to understand Bitcoin itself sometimes. So thank you. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Tim.